try and sort of go through how we can sort of use AI to build another AI product. So that's the main focus. And feel free to use the chat to ask questions as we go, and we'll have at the end moment to sort of ask questions as well. So before we jump in, I want to try and like sort of introduce myself again, like for anybody who missed. So my name is Aki. So I've been a AI engineer for the last couple of years and in machine learning in the last 12 plus years. So I've done a PhD in machine learning at King's College London and like done a postdoc. And previously I was head of AI engineering at a hedge fund based out of London. So super excited to have everyone in the call. And like as we go, people will join in. I think so yeah, but I think the focus for today is going to be on one of the products that's been quite popular called Lovable, but I'll go into detail in a bit. So before we start today's session, I want to sort of introduce like what are the main sort of four areas we're going to cover in the next coming weeks. So this is for the AI Builders Bootcamp, which is going to be on the talking about how we can sort of use AI to build another AI product. And so the main focus of today is to get the foundations right. So we're going to use a product called Lovable to use build an application with real users and authentication and database, etc. So at the end of the session, we're going to try and sort of have a workable product. So week two, it's going to be around the intelligence, like we sort of use tools like Cursor, Claude Code into sort of building AI features into this application that we develop. We try our best to sort of like use the same product across. So we might need to deviate a bit because obviously certain sort of features might not align really well, but like the main focus is going to be like use like the singular product throughout the session, like throughout the 4 weeks, and try and build the product. So the third week it's going to be on automation, agentic AI. So we're going to look into tools like NA10, sort of RAG, where you can sort of use like low code, no code tool to build these sort of features. Last week it's going to about like making it production ready, so having the right kind of sort of observability and sort of deploying it out in the wild so that we can sort of like get it to actual users. So those are like the main areas that we want to cover. And at the end of the 4 weeks, the plan is to have a product that's with your custom domain. You can have your GitHub repo that you can show to other folks, and with the right kind of documentation. So that's the outline, and we're gonna sort of get into the first week. But in the meantime, it'd be amazing like if you do a quick introduction in the chat. I know like we had a chat before, but like feel free to use the chat because I think there are like new folks coming in. Your name, where you're from, what you do as we go. So that would be amazing. So make this an opportunity to sort of meet everyone as well. Also, you may notice that you've been set to mute, but I'm gonna like sort of let you guys ask questions in the midpoint and at the end as well, so that so we can sort of go through the content, which is bit of content today. So yeah, cool. Hey Caroline, hey Dal, hey Dean, amazing. Really interesting bunch of people, and we'll learn together. So I think that's the main focus. So hopefully you guys connect with each other as well. So as we go, feel free to sort of network as well. Just keep them coming. So as we go, so feel free to ask questions in the chat. So I'll take them at the midpoint and at the end so that we can sort of like flow smoothly. Otherwise, yeah, we might miss on some of the content. Amazing. So today's agenda. So we're going to talk about first one, like how to think about building AI products. So we're going to talk about a framework called CLV framework, which is looking at products from a AI sort of capabilities point of view, where rather than just trying to like use the latest features, you sort of understand like what AI can do and what sort of tools out there, and then like use that to actually think about products and sort of building super fast. The second, we're going to look at common failure patterns like in AI, AI-based products, and like what sort of areas we can focus on. The most important part is going to be the third point, sort of building apps using AI. So we're going to use a product called Lovable. You might have already heard about this. It's quite popular. It was on resources as well. Like, so it's one of the tools that helps you build applications using prompting. And at the end, we'll talk about an assignment and the Q&A piece where we can sort of discuss on different topics. If something is not clear, we can go into detail during that time. All right. So let's take a step back and sort of try and sort of understand um, how to think about sort of AI. So for me, I think this is how I think about AI. So like there are the capabilities piece. The first piece, this is the CLV framework that I just spoke about. The first being the C capabilities, where you have different types of capabilities that AI has. So you can sort of do categorization, do analysis, generation, search, predictions, etc. So we'll go into each section separately, but know that this is the first step at understanding what AI can do. So things like almost all the AI features would fall into some of these categories. And then you have the tools, we call leverage, that we use to build software much faster. So you'll have things like Lovable, Cursor, N810, Claude Code, things, tools like that, that sort of helps you build things much faster. And also there are things like vector databases that are out there, so that helps you to sort of build these AI systems together. Um, the third point is the value piece. So this is where the most important part, you sort of try and combine sort of the capabilities and the leverage together to come up with these value piece for customers where your users. So like for example, faster support, smarter routing, instant answers. I mean, ChatGPT, things like Cursor are really good examples of how AI been built into products really well. So you'll see this a lot across different sort of solutions, and it's yeah, um, yeah, and I think like if the main sort of insight is like if you're thinking from a founder, sort of like a product person's point of view, the idea is that your sort of role would be to like sort of connect the capabilities and tools to user values. So that's the way to think about, rather than sort of like thinking about, okay, there's this amazing model like GPT-4, like GPT-5 model that sort of helps you to um, start creating solutions based off of technology. The best way to think about is like how do you sort of like use understand these tools and understand these capabilities, and how we can sort of map them to an actual value that could help customers. Like, so it's not necessarily about sort of these tools, and it's important that you understand the models, etc. But the main piece is like how do you sort of connect these. So that's the sort of the message that I want to get across. For example, saying that use GPT-4 is just talking about a model, but a better sort of way to frame this would be like to auto categorize tickets, route this to agent, and notify via Slack. So that's a system altogether rather than like an individual feature. This might not be the only way to think about this. This is a way that I framed that helps you to like sort of understand these different kinds of solutions. You can try to like sort of fit in most of the AI features, AI tools into this bucket, and like sort of look at these case studies, etc., where this value piece has been delivered really well. So that's the way of thinking that I want to sort of emphasize here. Like that's gonna help us approach AI and building AI solutions in the right way. So the first piece. Um, so so the first part is like understanding the different types of capabilities that AI has. So the word is thrown around a lot, like say we use AI, generative AI. So AI is a broad topic, but everything in machine learning, everything in intelligence sort of falls into AI. But if you think about it, these are like some of the high level sort of categorization that you can look at. So the understanding and classification, right? So you can sort of do sentiment analysis, like understand like text, look at a paragraph or a letter or a long document, and understand sentiment behind that, like comments, etc. The second one is a generation. Like the best example is ChatGPT. So you can sort of generate things. You can generate text, you can generate images, you can generate audio, etc. Third point being the prediction and decision signals. So this is where you use machine learning models to predict certain things, right? So you have like things like XGBoost, like you have like linear regression models. So you use this to like predict something. By the end of the day, that sort of falls under this prediction and decision signals category. And you also have retrieval and RAG. So where you sort of can do search across different types of databases, different types of knowledge bases, etc. So that's the other category I would put AI into. So understanding these different types of categories helps you to sort of think about AI in detail rather than sort of going into like very minor detail, very specific algorithms, because that's going to be quite overwhelming because there are so many things moving around. So thinking from this high level overview, it's going to help you to capture this really well. So the idea here is that sort of AI at the end of the day is going to produce signals in some form, whether it's through classification or through generation, or as a prediction, or even like getting some information from our knowledge base. So, but at the end of the day, it's going to get a human in the loop, and then you have to make the decision. So, unless it's like something like a even if it's like a research tool, like even if you interact with some ChatGPT, you are going to sort of get this information, and you have to make a call on how to use that. So like if you take something away from this like this slide, it's like understand that AI produces signals and not decisions. So at the end of the day, you need to like try and like use that in a smarter way. You can sort of put in things in the mix like guardrails, etc., to fine tune the last decision. When you feel comfortable, then yeah, you can sort of automate a lot of things. But this is the way that I sort of think about AI from AI capabilities point of view. So it's the first part. The next part is the set of tools. So I mentioned like there are like different kinds of tools out there. That's gonna help you build AI tools again, and also different types of supporting tools that's gonna help you build AI systems. So there are like if you look at the first category, which are the app builder sort of tools, things like Lovable, V0, Replit, Bolt, Cursor. All of these is going to help you build apps super fast. Like different kinds of solutions. You can build them like software. At the end of the day, just prompting and just like you can directly actually natural language, you can get them to build application. That's the first part. Second part is the data layer, where you have the things like Supabase, Firebase, Clerk, etc. So these tools partially AI integrated, but not all of them is like fully AI. But these are very core components, really important components in the AI landscape. So you have to understand this and like how different types of these database solutions sort of fit into the mix, especially the authentication and also vector databases and things like that. So this is the other piece to think about when it comes to AI tooling. Third piece is like AI assisted coding tool. So this sort of like sits in between the first and the second, but these are predominantly like to support engineers to build AI solutions much faster. So you can see cursor is on both places because cursor can be sort of interpreted as app builder, also like agent. So because like it sits in between middle. So things like Claude Code, GitHub Copilot, Replit agents, Windsurf, all of these tools are developed towards engineers or who are sort of building software, and this makes your life much easier to build code with AI assistance. So there's quite a few agents that you can use, and then you can sort of build software. The fourth point is the automation tools. This is um, where we have things like Na10, Make.com, Zapier, Retool, Windmill. All of these tools helps you to build automations. You think about email automation, you can do ad automation, things like that. All of these falls into this. So these are different types of tools, but at the end of the day, it's sort of gives you speed to build things and make things much faster. And they don't necessarily define sort of differentiation. So it falls to your responsibility to make sense of this. So this is the overview I would say when it comes to AI sort of tools landscape. The final bit is sort of adding value. So this is about like how do you sort of use AI to build actual value add for products. If you look at it like I'll show some examples like but you might have seen these a lot across application that you use. You have like assistive features like AI suggestions, automations, like where like systems acts and rules, knowledge features like where you have like ChatGPT or RAG system that sort of extract information from like a concept data set that is like being used in the database. Then there's decision support systems or AI sort of highlights certain predictions so that you can use them um, to make a decision. So I want to like quickly show like what I'm talking about here. You've probably seen tool called Grammarly. So Grammarly is I will make this into the middle. So Grammarly is one of these tools that you use to helps you write better. So like if you worked on assignments and things like that in the past before ChatGPT. This is a tool that people used a lot. I don't know if people use this a lot anymore, but during my PhD, I used this a lot to get my English corrected, things like that. But as you can see, I just generated this text from ChatGPT and added here. This by definition has some errors. But as you can see, there are highlights, as you can see in red, etc. So this is AI be working in the background, sort of figuring out, okay, this has certain errors, so go and check this out. And also, if you click on them, it will have certain suggestions. So this is where AI sort of figure out, okay, you can do this correction. So just giving a very simple example, but similar to this, you might see like all over like across any kind of application that you're probably using going to have these kind of features. So keep an eye out when you sort of interact with different products in day to day, like whether you see these kind of sort of features. So this is where whenever you see this, there's some sort of AI model, some sort of AI automation in the background that's working to make this happen. So that's the sort of the way of thinking I want you guys to think about this, where the value addition comes at this last layer, where it helps the user to use the product much better. So right, otherwise we'll have to sort of like, yeah, like it will be quite hard for us to figure out where the error is. So it's very important. And like if you find error, how to fix that, it's also going to be helpful. So that's the point I want to make here. And if you go back to the slides, yeah. Um, so yeah, the next point is going to be about common failure patterns. So there are 1,000 ways that AI systems can fail, but these are some of the common ones that I have seen, like when it comes to sort of building products from scratch. So the model first thinking, that means having sort of thinking about we have some sort of model, some sort of technology, and how can I apply this to a specific problem? That's not the right way to go about this. The right way to go about this, I think about the problem first and then sort of think about the models and the features. That's why it's important for you to understand the different kinds of AI features which are out there, the capabilities and the constraints, and then you can use that to sort of apply that to the application. The second one is like writing like these large prompts, like to get something done. So when it's especially when you're building software rather than like building massive prompt should be ideally like done in iteration. So you build certain feature, you add another feature, etc. So you sort of go on feature by feature. By doing that, you're gonna get you can correct when a mistake happens, and also sort of like fine tune the application in a much more granular manner. Because otherwise, like you'll sort of build something super fast, but you might not get what you want in one go. So so prompting is another area that you need to focus on, like writing the right kind of prompts and sort of building in an iterative fashion. The third point is so you build you probably seen ChatGPT when it first came out. It was just a chatbot. Like it didn't have these like external features that you can do a lot of work. So, but at the end of the day, like it sort of got matured, so it could sort of connected to web search. It did agentic search. Yeah, so it created quite a lot of features on top of chatbots so that it makes a very comprehensive product. So if you use Claude, you'll see that as well. So the Claude has quite a lot of other external features that gives you this not just a chatbot, but it can act as his agent that can do a lot of work. So rather than just thinking about chatbots, you think about sort of workflows. So that's the example I want to sort of bring about. And the fourth point is mostly around critical sort of applications, whether it's healthcare or banking, rather than just letting AI sort of like run wild. So having the right kind of control and the review in place. So we'll talk about LLM as a judge, human in the loop sort of evaluations towards the end. But the idea is that if AI generates something, AI do something, it's important that you sort of review that, especially in critical domains, so that you make sure that things are sort of working fine. So the idea is that you fix a system and then sort of think about adding AI. So you figure out like what's a problem that you're trying to solve, and then sort of draw from your knowledge around AI to sort of apply that to solve certain problems. So this is the main point I want to sort of like highlight here. Like, so rather than just going from model first thinking or like big prompts, it's important like take this step by step. So yeah, I think like you'll see this when you start building products in the coming weeks. But I want to like sort of like at this explanation. So yeah, I think like the next step is to go and try and build something. Before I go there, I want to make sure I take any questions that is out there. Um, yeah, I think I've seen a lot of questions. Let me read through them. Amazing. I think I'll pick the immediate one. Sarwan, and you asked a question. Prompt-based engineering versus context engineering. So it's a great question. So I think generally prompt-based engineering, like prompt engineering, sort of goes to like you sort of work within the text description, like what you write in the prompt. Where context engineering, you sort of bring a lot of more information. Like so, the best example could be Cursor. Let me to quickly see if I can open Cursor. So this is one of the tools we'll learn next week, but I want to like quickly sort of show this. Um, so if it is just a prompt, you'll just write like build me Python application that this is hello. So this could be like a simple application, but as you can see, you could sort of like add a lot more information to this. You can sort of add context, you can add files, you can add docs, you can sort of connect the terminal logs, you can connect the browser. So with this, the agent can sort of pull a lot more information so that it has a lot of context. So that's where the context engineering comes into play. So having the right kind of information so that the AI can work out. Where the prompt is like you just focus on the text piece, you write a prompt in a meaningful manner, more structured manner, so that you can instruct the agent. So with sort of these agentic tools, MCPs, things like that, so the context engineering sort of came into play. It's a really good question, Sarah. Yeah, thank you for that. Let me see if there's another question. I think, yeah, Saran, thank you for answering that question. Yeah, hallucinations. Yeah, definitely. So the reason that hallucinations comes is purely because how LLMs are trained and evaluated. So the LLMs are trained. So the nice paper, I'll send it out. So the OpenAI spoke about why hallucination happens because it's how AI models are built, because the scoring mechanism for AI models is to generate some sort of an answer. So it needs to like act like a human and generate some answer. So even if it doesn't have information in the knowledge base, it will start generating an answer because that's how it was scored. So there's a sort of a scoring mechanism within the LLM training process so that it asks you to like generate something. I think if we change the way that we sort of generate the evaluate the training process, the hallucinations may go away. But to get away with hallucination, we have RAG systems and we have like these kind of different sort of mechanisms that we can put into place. But we'll go into detail in the coming weeks. But it's a really good question around hallucination. It's a major issue with LLMs, but you can sort of there are ways around that. So yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think we're going to the build itself. No other questions. So, so today's focus is going to be around sort of building a product. So when I mean a product, it's really simple. I'll go into detail in a bit. So the idea is like build something and you have user authentication that other users can log in and have database with real data and working dashboard and a public URL. So we have like 20 minutes to build this. So we'll see if we can build this. We're going to start from scratch and see if we can build that. To do that, we're going to use a product called Lovable, which is a tool that gets you to build applications using prompting. It can generate the user interface, the backend authentication, database layer, and also it controls the deployment as well. And if needed, you can sort of sync this data to your GitHub repo, and then you can use that and you can do like local sort of adjustments as well. So this week, we are not going to get the code to the local environment. We're going to stay in Lovable and build that. So Lovable is not the only player in the market. There are tools like Replit, Bolt, Base 44, V0. There are quite a few tools out there that do very similar to sort of a job. But Lovable has been something I've been using a lot. So I think like it's been quite stable. I've seen the growth of the product. It's one of the at least one of the top two sort of applications in this space that helps you to build products using AI. Um, so that's the introduction about Lovable, and when you'll see like when I interact with it, I'll sort of explain different sort of features that Lovable has. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna try and build an application. So we talk about having authentication, having the data sets, the dashboards, and the deployment. And we want to make sure that we can sort of deploy this as well. To get started, I'm going to um, show a couple of prompts that we're going to use. So the idea is like we're going to build a personal finance tracker, something that everybody has to do at the end of the day. So to manage your expenses. So for that, like I've created two prompts. So the first prompt is the initial sort of the setting up. Um, I might even break this up into two, but right now, due to time constraint, I'll probably go in like one prompt. That sort of explains like what we need to build. So as you can see, we would sort of explain what to build and what sort of features I need, the database information. So like I need to sort of keep categories of information and then the transactions and have some sort of constraints. Users only see their own data. I mean, in very simple English. And I say clean design with blue purple colors and rounded corners, and then the pages that I need. It might ask some sort of clarification questions, but that's fine. So after that, I want to run this next prompt, which is about the dashboard, building a dashboard. Um, and we'll see like after this is successful, hopefully, and then we can go into this. Let's log into Lovable. So let me see. So the URL is lovable.dev. If you haven't sort of seen this before. So there's a free tier that you can play around with it, but if you're building a lot with Lovable, feel free to get a subscription. But I think like to get like few prompts in, like build like initial version of something, you don't need to pay for this. Now they have a free tier that you can use. But I built using Lovable, so I have a premium subscription because it's quite interesting to build with Lovable. Um, when you first log in, you'll have something like this, very similar to ChatGPT. You can have like ask, type in what you want to build, and you can use voice if needed. I think you can tell what you need to build. Um, yeah, I did. I will share everything as well. But if needed, I'll sort of share the prompts as well in the chat if it helpful. Yes, so first one, just a second prompt. But all of these will be shared after the session as well. So and there's other option to plan. So if you're not sure what to build, you can sort of chat with it and start making a plan. And that's just sort of brainstorming with AI. So you use AI as your sort of your requirements engineer, your business analyst. You sort of interact with your AI to come up with a really good plan. So I've done this with ChatGPT already. I'm not going to do it here. And so that's why I came up with the prompt that I shown you right now. And you have the ability to pick themes. Like let's say if you have some sort of a theme that your application to look like, you can sort of select these themes. You've already done certain selections, what it looks like. And then either you can, if you have some sort of a custom sort of a brand template, you can create your own sort of themes here. So typography needed, effects, colors, etc. Yeah, you can do a lot here, and you can sort of have this as a saved sort of configuration, and you can sort of switch between like dark mode and normal mode. So you have that, and yeah, so you can do a lot more changes here if needed. But I'm not going to create a theme at the moment. I just want to show that you can do this. Close without saving. Other thing is that you can sort of attach certain documents. Let's say if you have some sort of architecture diagram or you have some sort of inspiration from a different website, you can attach a screenshot here. So that gives you the starting point on like get inspiration from somewhere else. If you're not sure like what your application needs to look like, you can sort of go to some other application, like something built really nice. You can sort of grab some sort of screenshots, you can put it there. Or if you need to have like some sort of a guideline or the database scheme that you need to have, you can sort of attach them here. So that's another feature it has. Then you have, yeah, you can take screenshots. You can also have connectors. So connectors, I think like don't want to go into detail, but I'll show what this actually means. So if you go to connectors, you'll see you can easily connect other tools to this. So your application could have all these features inbuilt. So for example, if you need to have Stripe, you need to build an application where you need to take payments, you can connect Stripe. So like the application automatically will have Stripe. You can connect Shopify, you can connect Supabase, like that is like a backend as a service. You can connect GitHub, like to sync your code. Firecrawl is another tool that helps you automatically scrape websites. So Firecrawl is automatically sort of linked. Levan Labs, which is used for generating audio and understanding audio. This is like a audio AI company. Perplexity is another AI tool that gives you like ability to search things. So we already connected these to the account, but apart from that, there's a lot more. Atlas and N8N, Notion, if you have Notion pages, Miro, you can connect that. And yeah, and also you can make a request about if you needed some sort of integration, you can ask them to build that. But we're not going to use any integrations today. But the most important tools here are these two, the cloud and the AI. So in the past, we didn't have these two. So these were like added later, like maybe 3 4 months ago. The before Supabase was the sort of the backend, the cloud service for Lovable. Right now, they've sort of built this in-house. So because of that, you'll have the databases, the storage, and everything in the cloud. So the AI is also another feature. So right before, we had to sort of add API keys from my OpenAI or some sort of AI service that we use. But right now, it's pre-built, so you don't have to worry about that, and it will automatically sort of use from this subscription. They'll add AI features onto that. So this is it's another important valuable thing that Lovable provides. Yeah, so I think enough talk. Let's go and build this. So I'm gonna like be super lazy. I'm gonna like copy this and paste this into the chat here. And so this is what it looks like when you start building. So you'll see it's thinking, like processing. So this is relatively, it's not a simple build because there's a lot of information here. So it's need to like sort of figure it out, like what to build, and sort of come up with plans. So in the meantime, I will show like what are the other features that you can see here. Yeah, okay, it's sort of, yeah, figure something out. Yeah, so you uh, came up with design directions. So the view and features in the first version, like the login page, the dashboard, transaction perform, transaction list. So yeah, I think like it is fair enough. I think we might need to do some edits, but that's fine. So it's asking us to enable cloud, so which is a feature that Lovable provides. So it helps us to have databases, storage, authentication, everything is pre-built, so you can directly use that. And if needed, as I said earlier, if you need to add AI features, you can add them as well. So everything is pre-packaged. And you don't have to separately pay. This is part of the package. So I mean, you get charged, but subscription that you get from Lovable will cover everything. You don't have to pay separately. And I'm going to say allow because it's asking for permission, and it's going to now go and start build that. Yeah, and so this is where the preview will come. It will take like at least a couple of minutes to come. So I'm going to like go and show rest of the component that this has. So this is the cloud part that I mentioned. So this will show the back end of your application. So you have the so it hasn't created anything yet. So if you have databases, you'll have it. So it created 2 databases right now. So if you have users, it will show here, and you have storage information, edge functions, and all sort of information would be here. We'll go into one by one and sort of explain what this means. So databases, as simple as it is, it's a database, Postgres database that they have, and so it can sort of like create any number of tables and have like row level policies, like to make sure that only the actual the users will see only their sort of data. So you have those all kinds of like policies as well in build. And then you have SQL editor if you need to write SQL to pull information from your database. So you can do that as well. So run SQL without any issues. So these are the users. If you have users who sign up for your application, you can see them. You can see when they logged in, all sort of information will be there. And storage. So this is if your application needs to upload files, upload images, let's say it's a HR like a recruiting platform where people need to upload their CVs, all of this information will be sort of stored here. So you can sort of access that data from the back end. Edge functions. So this is a way of sort of enabling very specific sort of scripts. For example, let's say if you need to call like some sort of AI, external AI sort of a model, which Lovable doesn't allow, and you can use edge functions to create like a very specific script and get the information back. So edge functions, imagine them as like a Python script or a TypeScript script that will execute a specific program like lambdas on AWS. So it will run something, and you can use that within your application directly. So this is quite helpful, like if you need to like write the backend logic here. But you don't have to worry about it. Like you can prompt to get this built. Then the AI piece. So so we didn't build any AI features into this, so I need to enable it. But I think after this is finished, we can sort of look into that, what it looks like. Secrets, like if you need to like store certain secrets, for example, if you have some sort of login details, some sort of API keys, so the best way to do that is like store them here so that Lovable will have access to these variable names and they can pull that information within the application. This is not this is also super secure, so you can you don't have to worry about like your certain keys being sort of exposed, etc. And then you have logs when this is deployed, like when people interact with it, you can have logs of your system as well. So you have all of this information here in one place. So this Cloud is like a really great feature. Before we had to sort of use Supabase for that, which is an external service. Right now it's inbuilt. So my sort of guess is either they've sort of used like Supabase is an open source tool, so I'm assuming so they deployed a version of Supabase on their side and then sort of integrate that. It's an assumption, but it looks exactly like this Supabase. So if you learn this part, Supabase is automatically learned. So that's a good thing. And then the design piece, and if you need to look at the code as well, so you can see the code is generated here. Um, So all the code is here, the migration scripts and everything, if you need to edit that, but generally you don't have to, but you can check that as well. You can search them, check files, etc. I think it says it's done, but let's see if it is done. Yeah. So it's built something. So let's see like how it looks like. So right now, yeah, I don't have an account, so let's sign up. And I'm gonna give like the best password ever. Let's see. Yeah. Cool. So you log into something like this. So to make it, I'll probably open this in a separate tab. So you can open that in a separate tab so you can interact with it rather than sort of worrying about it. So you'll have a simple dashboard and you have sort of tab to add transactions, and you can see all the transactions as well. So we'll go here and add something. Let's say $50. Grocery. I can select whatever that is. Let's say food. Date is already selected. Um, I this is was lunch. And I'm going to save transaction. So luckily it worked. So and so the recent transactions are there. Spending by category is there. And if you go here, I'll add another transaction. Yeah, traveling. Let's say traveling. Transport. Uh, yeah, let's create this. So you have this as well. So looks like it's working fine. And if you go here, you have the transaction history. So right now it's just manual. There's no AI here, but we used AI to build this solution. You can sort of filter out categories and transactions here. But I want to like improve this dashboard, right? So I'm going to use the second prompt that I mentioned. I'm going to use. I'm going to go here. Um, Go paste this. As you can see, they sort of previously sort of gave a summary of what it built. And now I'm asking to sort of improve the dashboard a bit. Um, but let's see how it looks like. You can also like directly edit this as well if you need to. So if you click on visual edits, I think there's this. If I click visual edits, I'll wait until this is finished. Otherwise, it's gonna get messed up. Let's see. Yeah, I think we got like a very simple dashboard, and if we need like specific charts, we can ask it to generate it. Like so, um, relatively simple to build. So UI is not the best because I haven't like instructed it really well, but we can sort of be really descriptive on like how we want it to look like. So you can have like custom logos, you can have like all sorts of things, and that's gonna like sort of have that information ready to use. So what I'm gonna do right now is gonna publish this. So go here, and if you go here, it's going to do a security scan. So this is quite important because like vibe coding is fun, but like if you have any security issues, like yeah, it's really bad. So Lovable has this feature. It's going to do like automatic scan. This is not like I wouldn't say 100% perfect, but it's really good at picking out certain issues. It gave a warning. So this is like yeah, leak password protection. Um, Leak password protection is disabled. It's not an issue right now. So if we close this and yeah, I think it's fine. So I'm gonna publish this. So you'll see like errors and like in red, like then it's something you really need to sort of care about. Uh, it's building, says it's live. Let's see. Yeah, there's a URL that can be publicly shared. Um, so we'll try to log in. Um, so yeah, you can log into that and you can see transactions. You can create another account as well, like sign up. I'm gonna use yep. So this is a separate account. It doesn't have the information that my previous account had. So you need to start from scratch, add new transactions. So the data is protected from accessing other people's data wouldn't be accessed by another user. Your data will be protected like that. So if you go back to this one and go to cloud, so you can see users. You'll see hopefully it's loading. So the two users that I've created are visible there, and you have the signups. You have all of this information here, and logs as well. You might see a lot more logs, like what happened in the backend. So you can sort of figure out if there are issues. You can sort of keep track of that, and you can download them, etc. Yeah. So the database will have like transactions. Um, yeah. Go back. Yeah. Different categories, etc. So you have all of this information. So I think this is simple enough. Like try to build something complex than this. But I think like during the assignment, like to be awesome that you guys sort of build something that personal to you. Try and sort of experiment with prompts and how do you write a prompt. I think like start from scratch, just asking it to like build something, and you'll see like how changing the prompt is going to change a lot of the outcome as well. So yeah, and and the next week it's gonna about like how do we sort of like use add AI into this. Like right now, like we can sort of ask you to build something using AI, but I think like it'd be awesome to like build something using cursor, Claude code as well. Uh, Let me quickly show as well. Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I think see if there are specific questions. Yeah, so I think the week one assignment, it's gonna be like pick one of the projects that you are interested in building. Have it track a recipe manager. So these ideas are simple enough, but it will help us to add more features as we go. Like next week, we're adding AI features. After add some sort of a agentic feature using N8 so you're gonna like add more features on top of that. So at the end of the program, Builders Bootcamp, you'll be able to like have a working product that you can sort of talk about. To verify like if this is working, like so if you need to check mobile responsiveness, um, yeah. So yeah, I think there's a question as well. Like, yeah, we're coming into questions in a bit. But yeah, I think happy to take on questions now. Just looking at the time as well. Yeah, I think we could take questions. Let me give me a sec. Yeah, Kishit. Yeah, feel free to ask a question. Yeah. No, I think this is just week one. I think like so, like pick one of these that you like to do, and then to recreate from your side using Lovable, and then submit the app URL, the dashboard screenshots, and like the description. So, and then like we'll hopefully use the same one to add more features on top of that next week, but doesn't have to be like it's. I mean, it's just a minor detail.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Um, others as well, like feel free to ask any questions if you guys have. Like, okay, there are questions in the chat. I'll read through and feel free to ask, unmute yourself and ask as well.
Aki, I got one question for you.
Yeah,
So
Dean,
I
go for
see.
it. Upload it to the Maven dashboard. Yeah, so it's not there yet, but I'll upload it today so you can check it. The recording will also be there. Amazing. Yes, Arun.
Any
Yes,
any
that's a very good question. Not sure, like nothing specific comes to my mind, but let me have a think about it. So there are like these product focused books which are not AI focused books. It's like how to think about products. I mean, like there are like a couple of books that comes to my mind, but let me check them and get back to you, Sarah. Like doesn't come, nothing
Sure.
comes to my mind specifically like a book.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Bharat,
Yeah, I think like the main I would use it as a understanding the landscape a lot more, like what sort of AI capabilities that
okay, got
the
it.
capabilities of AI, and then what sort of so the last tier is the one that it's going to help you like think about like applying these features to your product. So the most important part is like thinking about these capabilities and constraints of AI, and then understanding the tools, and then okay, how do you sort of apply, sort of translate those features into your problem, which is the last layer. That doing that, you're going to add value to the user.
Okay,
Hope that,
got it.
yeah. Got it. So another question. I think, yeah. So Caroline asks, how is the app hosted? Can you expect the code and host in your? Can you export? Oh yeah, 100%. It's a good question. So let me show you. So there are two ways to do this. Either you can download this or you can sync with your GitHub. So let me see. Yeah, so you can sync with your GitHub and it's gonna port your code to your GitHub and you can download it and run it as you see fit. Hopefully this is the URL. Let me see. So right now the entire sort of what I build right now, it's on my GitHub. It's private and so all the code, the Supabase information, the all the code is here, and there's a documentation done. Everything is there, so you can use this and deploy it in your own environment without any issues. You can download this. I can like download a zip file or clone it, and then you can use something like Cursor to build. So yeah, hope that helps, Caroline. I think you can do both, Caroline. I think like if you can get to the place where your application is so the idea I would think about is like the backend service is like very similar to Supabase. So if you are comfortable, and I've done this a lot with different products, and as long as it can handle like Supabase sort of like scale, and that's more than fine. Like you can actually deploy that. Even though I might not do for all the products because sometimes I need to do a lot more customization. So like especially comes to building software, like it may have certain limitations, like for example if I need to have specific language that I need to pick, if I need to do some Python sort of work, so sometimes you have these issues with Lovable. So for that time I probably need to like build the initial prototype and get it to local my local computer, and then use like Cursor or something like that to like build the rest of it. So that's how I'd go about it. So but having said that, there are like multi-million dollar businesses built on Lovable with actual users. So it's definitely doable. I've seen a lot of people do this. And the costing is also fine because they sort of sort of capture the entire sort of the usage as well to your subscription. So you don't have to like separately pay that. Obviously, like if you have more users, you can get the cost is gonna high, but in general that's fine to use. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a very good question. So it doesn't have like something like that. So I think like how I would go about this is like build the initial front end from this, the
Yeah.
application of it works and download. Then I probably use Cursor, something like that, to containerize that. You can get it to a Dockerized version, and then you can sort of push it. So there's this extra step that you need to do. Otherwise, this is like still tied to Supabase backend. So that's the step that you need to think about. But it's a great question, Saron. Yeah, that's something you need to think about when you need to port this. Yeah. Yeah, and also like we do something similar in the coming week as well. So we'll sort of
Oh,
get this.
great.
Yeah. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, don't worry about it.
Thanks.
So that was a question. Let me read. Yeah. Yeah, I think free credits ran out. Like, yeah, I think because the first prompt is quite long, so it's gonna take a lot of iterations. So I think like yeah, that's a common issue. But tomorrow you'll get reset with extra credits. And so Krishna asked for week one assignment, we need to pick from the slide on portal. Okay. Let me double check. Ideally, so if slightly different, I'll make sure that I'll update the list on portal as well. But yeah, ideally, what we showed on the slide would be the one to follow. But I'll make sure it's updated. Dean, it's a broad question. So I don't know if you can directly put it from Lovable. So you probably need to think about, because to get it to Play Store, Apple Store, you need to build a mobile application, and Lovable, like the application we built is not like it's not mobile. So I mean, it's more can be usable on mobile. Either you need to like think about using a tool that builds mobile applications. So there are like different tools like Lovable that helps you build application, or use something like Cursor, which gives you a lot of freedom on how to build things, and then get it sort of published and you can get it to Play Store. So yeah, let me check. Like there are some tools that helps you build applications using AI. Are you working on something, Dean, like in the mobile space? I think it'd be interesting to chat. So this is a question I got like from another student as well. This is not something we explore much, but definitely there are a few key players who are developing very similar products in this space. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I think like you can like easily convert these web apps to mobile apps as well right now. So even though Lovable doesn't have direct sort of transition for that, there are like ways to very quickly sort of convert this to mobile app and then sort of use that to get it deployed. So yeah, I'll find some resources on that, Dean. Yeah. Okay. I think it's not the right Cold Fusion. Would you know the exact name? Cold Fusion. Okay, let's see. Is it like something for Adobe? Is it? But I think if there's an API, we could write something, so it's not an issue. So we
Got
need
it.
to figure out a way to get an API so you can sort of connect it in tech. So whether it's Lovable or Cursor, we can directly connect that. But you need some way to integrate that, and we can write like even if you take N8N, you can connect like custom integrations, so you can easily sort of connect that. So yeah, I think like yeah, it's a really interesting problem. But yeah, like depends, right? Like if they are comfortable sort of exposing an API, we can do that. So it's a matter of sort of making that API call and getting that information. For sure, yeah. Happy to chat about that. Any other questions, guys? If I missed something, I'm just going through. So Saron asked the question, what is the agent in Lovable created in LangGraph LangChain? I wouldn't know, like it's closed sourced. So could be yeah, this is something I don't know, to be honest. Like they might have used something custom built, could be. But yeah, need to check.